Okay, so here are some type 3 problems that are pretty rigorous that you may experience. Um, I think one of the biggest things about ratio problems that make him really tough is not the ratio itself, but the at being asked about the total, right? And so we're going to approach these problems to the best of our abilities and see what we can get. So a recipe of fruit punch. So we know we're talking about fruit punch. So it's 4 cups of juice for every 3 cups of soda. So the ratio of juice to soda is 4 to 3. Now that's obvious. Great. But one thing I always like to tell y'all is that when y'all talking about ratio problems, you want to always talk about the total. You want to always mention the total because just never know. So, but what does this mean though, right? If we're making fruit punch, right? That means in order to make this batch, you need 4 cups of juice, 3 cups of soda. When you mix together in total, you're going to have 7 cups of fruit punch. Okay. So if you want to make 28 cups of fruit punch, how many cups of juice and soda will you need? All right. So let's start there. One thing I like to do is just do it one at a time. So we're talking about juice, talking about soda, and then fruit punch is like juice and soda mixed together. So when we have 4 cups of juice, 3 cups of soda together, that makes 7 cups of fruit punch. Now, in this, you want to make 28 cups of fruit punch. So you're not going to put fruit punch in juice or soda. You're going to put 28 cups at fruit punch. Now, in order to get from 7 to 28, you have to multiply by 4. And what you do on one side, you want to do on all the sides to make the ratio equivalent. Right? So 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. So if you want to make 28 cups of fruit punch, how many cups of juice and soda will you need? You would say 16 cups juice, 12 cups soda, um, um, one batch equals 7 cups. 7 times 4 equals 28. Multiply original ratio by 4 to get answer, right? So I would assume that that was 2 points, right? Because you got to show your work, X, Y, and Z. Part 3, explain how you found your answer using a ratio table equation. Boom. Or you could, let's say you're doing an equation. The equation, it has to be two because you have to be like juice to total and soda to total. So it's 4 to 7 and 3 to 7. So for here, it says your total is 28 cups. How much juice? So if you're solving for juice, juice equals, right? So 4/7 times 28 over 1. 28 times 4, which is 120 minus 8 is 112 divided by 7. 16. And then if you did soda equals 3/7 times total, 3/7 times 28 over 1. You know how I'm doing it in my head? I just rounded to 30 with a +2. So if I multiply it times 3, I know I have to subtract by 6 if I did all 30. So 30, 60, 90, 90 minus 6 is 84 divided by 7. And that's 12. So look, there's your equation. There's your answer. Done. If you increase the amount of juice by 2 cups, how does the ratio change? Well, it's only proportional. Well, it changes because it's not proportional. If you change one part, you must change other part to be proportional. Or equivalent, whichever one. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Nia is 5 years older. What should I do? When I see older, I always put an add. And then twice, I know twice is like 2x, her brother's age. So write an equation to represent Mia's age if her brother is X years old. So 2x plus 5 equals Mia. Done. If Mia is 21 years old, then how old is her brother? So substitute 21 for Mia. Subtract 5 on both sides. Inverse operation is to divide. Her brother is 8. Okay, explain how you can check your solution. Substitute x for 8. So 2 times 8 plus 5 equals 21. 16 plus 5 equals 21. 21 is equivalent to 21. So that is correct. Sorry. It's moving a little too fast. Don't forget your buzzwords and, keep it moving. Statistics. Okay, so the math quiz is 6 students. Okay, on the mean, median, and mode. Mean absolute deviation. Ooh. Okay, so the easiest thing to look for is the mode. So mode is 85. Since it's in order, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 87.5, but 85 plus 90 divided by 2, 87.5, median. The numbers are in order, so that's good. Now, mean is to add them all up. So 78 plus 85 plus 85 plus 90 plus 92 plus 95 divided by 6. Do it again. 78 plus 85 plus 85 plus 90 plus 92. Mean is 87.5. So the mean and the median are the same. Now we got to find the mean absolute deviation. When you're doing that, you got to put your mean in the middle and all of the numbers to the left and to the right of it. So you have 78, 85, 85, 0.5, 90, 92, 95. So 87.5 minus 85 is 2.5. So that's all deviating from the mean. Okay, 87.5 minus 78, 9.5. 87.5 and 90. 2.5. 92 minus 4.5 and 97.5. Then you got to find the mean of all of the deviated points. So you got 9.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 plus 4.5 plus 7.5. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Wait, now let's do that one more time. Divided by 6. 4.83, which would round to 4.8, 4.8 or 5. Then it says if the lowest score is removed, how does the mean change? Well, let's see. So how does the mean change and how does the mad change? So 85. 5. Okay. 85 plus 85 plus 90 plus 92. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I guess. I believe the mad is gonna be a lot smaller because 75 is 9.5 deviated from the mean, which is more than all of them. That's just my thought, and I'm gonna divide this by 5. So the mean 89.4. So then you gotta go minus 85, 4.4, 4.4. 5.6. So 4.4 times 2 plus 0.6 plus 2.6. Yep. as I suspected, 3.5. Because now, like, the answer choices are closer to the mean. Explain what the math told you about the set of scores. Um, well, there's a few things. Well, I would say that like initially the math was greater because of the lowest score as of the 78. But once that 78 was like taken away, the math became lesser because the the deviations are closer to the mean. Yeah. Okay. So a rectangular prism has a length of 8 by 5 by 3. Good. If the height is double, how does the volume change? The volume double. Explain using numbers. Well, 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 3 is 120. 40 times 6 is 240, which is double 120. Find the surface area of the original prism. Ooh, this is fun. You know, at first I used to be afraid of surface area, but now I think it's pretty fun because I can like draw the figure. Once I started being able to draw it, I'm like, okay, I could do this. All right, so the length and the width, we know that the bottom and the top is length and width, so it's 8 times 5. Um, this is the height. So you have 40, 80, 15 times 2, which is 30, and 24 times 2, which is 48. Squared, and the surface area is squared. Okay. So we have a jacket, so $60, 25% off, which is 1/4. I also know that 6 equals 10%. So 25 and 3 equals 5%. So 15% equals 25% equals 15. Or you could divide 60 by 4, whatever. Sell price means how much did they sell it for. So you have to subtract 60 from 15. Now it's 8% sales tax. I know that 1% equals 0.45, and 0.45 times 9 is, well, 8. 3.6. You have to add that to the 40, to the 45. 48.6. Explain how you can check if your answer makes sense using estimation. Well, I figured I've been just doing that. You can say 25% of 60 is about 1/4, which is 15. 8% sales tax is very close to 10%. And if it's 45, 10% of 45 is 4.5. So you just add 4.5 to your 45, 49.5, which is close. Yeah. Sarah has at most. I let I hope y'all really get to this part because after doing some really thinking, it makes sense. So there's a few things I realized here. At most 50 means can't be more than 50. And it has to be equal to. So it's less than 50 or equal to 50 because that's the most it could be. So that's the first thing you want to look at. $4 each tells me about a coefficient. It's like a 4x situation. So $4 is the amount of money and for how many. Right inequality represent how many notebooks she can buy. So I guess the X is the N. So you could say for N is less than or equal to 50. Cool. Solve the inequality and list the possible number of notebooks you can buy. Now, a notebook is a whole thing, so I know there's no fractions. So I want to divide by 4 on both sides. 50 divided by 4 is about 48. Oh, about 12, sorry. Yeah. 12.5. And since you can't have a half of notebook, you can do 12 notebooks. Explain why a negative number of notebooks does not make sense in this. Well, a negative means nothing. So negative can't make sense. Like nothing tangible, at least. That's it.